When did a business choose profit over stopping violence against you? The wrench dropped. Third time this week. I can't, I said, staring at my right hand like it belonged to someone else. Dr. Chen picked up the wrench from the therapy mat. Jake, try again. Grip strength isn't going to improve if you don't push through the discomfort. Discomfort, that's what she called it. I called it my hand shaking so bad I couldn't hold a basic tool for more than 5 seconds. It's not discomfort, I said. It doesn't work. She wrote something on her clipboard. I'd been coming here twice a week for 3 months, Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. Each session cost $185. My insurance covered 40 of it. Your radial nerve damage is significant, Dr. Chen said, not unkindly, just factual. You've lost about 42% grip strength in your dominant hand. That's permanent, Jake. Permanent. I'm right-handed. Was a mechanic for 14 years. Can't use power tools anymore because the vibration sends shooting pain up my arm. Can't do repetitive wrist rotation, which is basically the entire job. Installing bolts, tightening fittings, everything. My handwriting looks like a kid's now, shaky and embarrassing. I get exhausted after 15 minutes of any handwork. Dr. Chen was still talking. With continued therapy, we might get you to 65, maybe 70% capacity. I need 100%, I said. She didn't respond, because we both knew that wasn't happening. I kept thinking about that night, February 9th, Friday, 11:23 p.m. at Murphy's Bar. I was paying my tab. $42 for 3 beers and nachos. I had my back to the bar, turning to leave, when someone shoved me hard from behind. Watch where you're going, asshole. Derek Moss. 28. Drunk regular. I'd seen him there before, loud and aggressive, but I'd never spoken to him. The shove sent me sideways into the metal stair railing. My right hand hit first, taking the full impact. I heard something crack. Couldn't tell if it was the railing or my hand. The pain was immediate. Shooting. Electric. I couldn't move my fingers. Jesus, Derek, not again, the bartender Jenna said. Not again. Like this was a pattern. Frank Murphy, the owner, appeared fast. Everyone calm down. Let's not make this a thing. Not make this a thing. My hand was already swelling. I could barely stand. But Frank was more worried about the vibe in his bar than the fact that one of his customers had just assaulted another. That was 3 months ago. Now I'm sitting in my apartment on a Tuesday night with medical bills spread across my kitchen table like some kind of horrible puzzle. Emergency room visit, $4,200. 2 orthopedic consultations, $850 each. Nerve conduction study, $2,300. MRI, $3,400. 24 physical therapy sessions so far at $185 each, $4,440. Total medical bills, $23,400. Lost wages from 12 weeks of barely working, $14,200. And that's not counting the ongoing physical therapy, 2 sessions a week for another 6 to 9 months. Projected cost, somewhere between $17,000 and $26,000 more. Or the fact that Mike, my shop owner, offered me a supervisory role because I physically can't do mechanic work anymore. $38,000 a year. I used to make $61,000. That's a $23,000 annual pay cut. Permanently. My car payment is late. My rent is late. My credit card is maxed, covering copays. I can't open jars anymore. Dropped my coffee mug twice this week at the shop. The guys noticed but didn't say anything. Last Sunday, I tried helping my nephew Danny with his homework. The kid's 9. He watched me try to write and asked, Uncle Jake, why is your hand shaking? I haven't worked on my motorcycle in 3 months. That used to be my favorite thing. Just me and the bike in the garage fixing whatever needed fixing. Now I can't even hold the tools properly. Getting dressed takes longer. Buttons are difficult. Last Friday, Frank Murphy showed up at my apartment. He brought a peace offering, $500 gift certificate to Murphy's Bar, and free drinks for a year. Look, Jake, he said, all friendly. I feel terrible. Derek's an idiot when he drinks. But this lawsuit talk, it's bad for business. Let's settle this like men. I stared at the certificate in his hand. I did the math in my head. My losses are approaching $80,000 minimum, probably more. Frank thought $500 in drink vouchers made us even. Now I'm sitting at my kitchen table, medical bills everywhere. My phone buzzes with a reminder. Tuesday, 2 p.m. PT appointment, $185 due. I try to write a check. My hand shakes. Can't grip the pen properly. There's a tremor even when I'm resting now. This isn't just about Derek shoving me. This is about Frank being warned 23 minutes before it happened. I know because I talked to Reggie, the bouncer, a few weeks later. He told me he'd asked Frank if he should kick Derek out. Frank said no, didn't want to lose a paying customer. This is about Frank choosing profit over safety. This is about everyone assuming I'll just take it and go away. I pick up my phone, call the number my coworker Tommy gave me. A man answers. Mueller Webb. Mr. Webb, I need help, I said. Guy broke my hand at a bar. Owner knew he was violent. Insurance is denying everything. Tell me everything, Webb said. And I mean everything. Times, dates, exact words. This is going to be harder than you think. I looked at my right hand, still trembling. I'm not going away, I said. They need to understand that. And 3 weeks after that phone call, I walked into the police station. Detective Morrison took my statement in a windowless room that smelled like burned coffee. He was maybe 50, tired eyes, pen clicking the whole time I talked. I explained everything. Derek shoved me from behind, unprovoked. My hand hit the railing. Witnesses saw it all. I gave him names. Jenna the bartender, Reggie the bouncer, 2 other patrons Reggie had told me about, Marcus something and a woman named Tina. We'll look into it, Morrison said. He wasn't writing anymore. These bar fights are tricky though. Usually both parties share fault. I didn't fight anyone, I said. I was paying my tab. Leaving. He nodded like he'd heard it 1,000 times before. We'll be in touch. 1 week later, Morrison called me back. Spoke with Mr. Moss, he said. No greeting, just facts. Says you bumped into him first, spilled his drink, he pushed you away in self-defense. Claims he was too intoxicated to control his strength. I was at the shop when he called, had to step outside so nobody would hear. That's not what happened, I said. I was leaving. He came at me from behind. Do you have video proof? Murphy's doesn't have cameras covering that area. But there were witnesses. Bar witnesses are unreliable, Mr. Martinez. Everyone's been drinking. This is going nowhere as a criminal case unless you have hard evidence. He hung up before I could respond. I stood in the parking lot staring at my phone. The system wanted video proof of every moment of your life, or you didn't matter. Derek Moss permanently disabled my hand and faced 0 consequences. Being too drunk wasn't an aggravating factor. It was an excuse. 10 days later, I got a letter from Atlas Liability Insurance. I'd filed a claim against Murphy's Bar on March 5th. My health insurance covered the emergency room and initial treatment, but physical therapy was classified as ongoing maintenance. $50 copay per session, twice a week. That's $400 a month out of pocket for 6 to 9 months. I couldn't afford that. Murphy's had insurance. They'd cover it. That's what insurance was for. The denial letter arrived March 15th. Incident classified as mutual combat between patrons. Bar has no duty to intervene in customer disputes. No evidence of inadequate security. Bar employed bouncer on duty. Claim denied. Case closed. I read it 3 times. Mutual combat. I was assaulted. They called it mutual combat. March 18th. I called Atlas directly. The claims adjuster was a woman named Linda Pacheco. Professional, polite, immovable. Mr. Martinez, I understand your frustration, but our client maintains adequate security. Your dispute was with another patron, not with Murphy's Bar. The bouncer was told not to intervene, I said. Do you have documentation of that instruction? I know, but Reggie told me. Hearsay isn't evidence. Her tone didn't change, still polite. If you want to dispute this denial, you'll need documentation. Security footage, written incident reports, anything official. I didn't have any of that. Do you have anything official, Mr. Martinez? No. Then I'm afraid our decision stands. She hung up. I sat on my couch feeling the walls close in. My rent was 3 weeks late. My landlord left voicemails every other day now, polite at first, less polite lately. I'd missed my car payment, got a letter threatening repossession if I didn't pay within 10 days. Mike, my shop owner, pulled me aside Thursday afternoon. Jake, you doing okay? He wasn't asking about my hand. Yeah, why? Just wondering when you think you'll be ready to come back to light duty. Translation. I can't hold this supervisory position open forever. I'm working on it, I said. He nodded. Didn't push. But I could see it in his face. He needed an answer soon. That night, I checked my credit card statement. They'd raised my interest rate to 29.9%. Reason, missed payment. I'd been 1 week late, once, because I was covering physical therapy copays. Now I was paying an extra $170 a month in interest on $12,400 in debt. I put the statement down, stared at my right hand, still trembling. Always would be, and nobody was going to help me. That same week, I met Mueller Webb at his office. The place was small, practical, no fancy furniture or diplomas covering every wall, just a desk, 2 chairs, and filing cabinets. It made me feel less intimidated. Webb was maybe 48, solid build, former union rep turned personal injury lawyer, according to his website. Talk me through it, he said. Don't leave anything out. I explained everything. The injury, Derek's assault, Frank's negligence, the insurance denial. I brought everything I had, medical records, ER report, bills, physical therapy notes. Webb listened, took notes, didn't interrupt. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. You have a case, he said. It's not going to be easy. He explained the legal reality. We need to prove bar negligence, that Frank knew or should have known Derek was dangerous. We need to prove inadequate security response. We need to document every cent of damages. We need expert medical testimony about permanent impairment. This will take 8 to 12 months minimum, Webb said. Maybe 18 if they fight hard. 18 months? Atlas will lowball you first, standard tactic. Then they'll claim you're exaggerating your injury. Then they'll try to pin fault on you. My stomach dropped. Webb explained his fee structure. He works on contingency, 33% of any settlement, 40% if it goes to trial. I pay nothing up front, but I'm still responsible for medical bills and living expenses while the case proceeds. If we lose, I get nothing and still owe everything. My investigator will talk to witnesses, Webb said. We'll build this step by step. I nodded, felt a little hope for the first time in weeks. That hope lasted 6 days. Webb called me March 28th. We've got a problem, he said. Derek's brother Cameron was at the bar that night. He's now claiming you were drunk, aggressive, got in Derek's face first. That's not true. I know, 3 other witnesses say otherwise, but this is what they do. Create doubt, make it he said. I could hear papers shuffling on his end. There's something else, Webb said. Derek's lawyer sent me a letter today. Derek's filing a countersuit against you. Defamation and emotional distress from false accusations. My chest tightened. Can they do that? They can file whatever they want. It's a legal intimidation tactic, pure bullshit. But can I lose everything? No, listen to me, Jake. This is them trying to scare you into backing down. The countersuit won't go anywhere, but it tells me they're going to fight dirty. I stared at my right hand, still trembling. I thought filing reports and getting a lawyer would solve things. Instead, the police wouldn't help. Insurance denied everything. Now I was being sued. Doing the right thing wasn't enough. Are you ready for this fight? Webb asked. Because it's going to get uglier. I looked at my hand again. This was my career, my life. I don't have a choice, I said. Then we build an airtight case, Webb said, starting with proving the bar knew Derek was dangerous. A week later, Frank went public. April 2nd, Murphy's Bar Facebook page, 1,800 local followers. The post said, heartbroken to announce Murphy's is facing a devastating lawsuit from a former customer over an unfortunate accident. After 23 years serving this community, we may be forced to close. Small businesses can't survive this kind of legal attack. Please support your local establishments. There was a photo, Frank behind the bar looking exhausted, defeated. The comments flooded in within hours. This is ridiculous. Ambulance chaser lawyers ruining everything. People are so sue-happy now. I didn't see the post until Tommy showed me at work. He looked uncomfortable. Just thought you should know, he said. I scrolled through the comments. 50, then 80, then over 100. Nobody used my name, but everyone in town knew. 3 days later, Frank showed up at the shop. Mike called me over. Someone here to see you. Frank was standing by the front counter, clean shirt, friendly smile, like we were old buddies. Jake, can we talk man to man? He walked outside. I followed. We stood in the parking lot. He kept his voice calm, reasonable. Look, I get it. You're hurt, you're angry. But this lawsuit? It's going to destroy me. I've got 3 employees depending on this bar. My wife is having panic attacks. He pulled out a letter from his pocket, unfolded it. Bank letterhead, line of credit under review due to pending litigation. My insurance company is hanging me out to dry, Frank said. They're fighting it, which means I'm personally on the hook for legal fees. We're talking about losing everything. The bar, our house, my daughter's college fund. I didn't say anything. I know Derek's an asshole when he drinks, Frank continued. I've barred him now, permanently. But Jake, you're going to kill my business over one drunk idiot? He pulled out his phone, showed me photos. His wife Sarah, daughter Emily, 19, son Marcus, 16. Emily's at state, Frank said. Marcus wants to go to trade school. How do I tell them we lost everything because of one bad night? He put the phone away. $15,000, he said. Cash, immediate payment, if you drop this suit today. That's everything I can scrape together, my savings, my retirement. Please. I looked at him. $15,000 would solve my immediate crisis, pay rent, catch up the car payment, cover some medical bills. But Webb said my damages were closer to $120,000 to $150,000, and $15,000 didn't address the permanent disability, the fact that I'd never work as a mechanic again. Plus, Frank knew Derek was trouble. Reggie told me that. Frank chose not to do anything. I need to think about it, I said. That evening, I called Webb first, told him about Frank's offer. Don't take it, Webb said immediately. It's nowhere near what you're owed. I know, but he seemed desperate. He should be. He's liable. That's the point. I took a breath. I appreciate the offer, Frank. I'd practiced saying it. But it doesn't cover my medical costs. I need you to work with your insurance company. I called Frank, said exactly that. The line went quiet for a moment. When Frank spoke again, his voice was completely different. Cold. Then you're making a big mistake, he said. This town knows who I am. Nobody likes someone who destroys local businesses. He hung up. I sat on my couch staring at my phone. The friendly act was over. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from Atlas Insurance. They were ordering an independent medical examination. I had to see Dr. Ronald Kemper for a neutral evaluation. I called Webb. These IME doctors work for insurance companies, he said. They find ways to minimize your injury. Be honest, but don't downplay your symptoms. The appointment was April 25th. Dr. Kemper's office was in a medical building downtown. He was maybe 62, orthopedic surgeon. His waiting room had framed articles about him on the wall. The exam lasted 12 minutes total. He asked me to grip his hand. I did, winced when I squeezed. That didn't seem too difficult for you, he said. He handed me a 5-pound weight, asked me to lift it. I could, but my hand trembled holding it. You're able to lift it though. He didn't ask about sustained activity, didn't ask about power tools, didn't ask about my actual job requirements. He never observed my hand at rest. The tremor was visible if you looked. 12 minutes. Then he said we were done. The report arrived May 2nd. I read it 3 times because I couldn't believe what it said. Patient displays mild residual weakness consistent with soft tissue injury. Grip strength measured at 78% of expected value based on 10-second test. Patient is capable of returning to full occupational duties with minimal accommodation. Permanent partial disability rating, 8%. 8%. Dr. Chen said 42. Kemper tested me for 10 seconds. My job requires hours of sustained grip. He claimed I was basically fine. May 4th. Linda Pacheco from Atlas called me directly. Mr. Martinez, we've received Dr. Kemper's report. Confirms our initial assessment. This injury is being significantly overstated. That's not what my doctor says, I said. That's not what my physical therapist says. With all due respect, your providers have a financial incentive to extend treatment. Dr. Kemper is a neutral expert. He spent 12 minutes with me. 12 minutes is sufficient for orthopedic assessment. Her voice stayed professional. Calm. Mr. Martinez, I'll be frank. Continuing this claim makes you look like you're trying to work the system. My recommendation? Accept a nuisance settlement of $8,500 and move on with your life. That's our final offer. $8,500. My medical bills were over $23,000, lost wages $14,000, ongoing therapy projected between $17,000 and $26,000 more. I'm not accepting that, I said. Then we'll see you in court. She hung up. That night, I sat at my kitchen table staring at both reports. Dr. Chen. 42% grip loss. Cannot perform repetitive tasks. Permanent disability. Dr. Kemper. 8% disability. Capable of full duties. Was I exaggerating? Number. I couldn't hold a wrench for more than 5 minutes. I knew that. But what if a jury believed Kemper instead of Dr. Chen? $8,500 would at least cover some bills. Not all, not even half, but something. I looked at my right hand, still trembling, always would be. I called Webb. They offered $8,500, I said. Called it a nuisance settlement. Don't take it. What if we lose? We're not going to lose. Kemper's report is garbage and we can prove it. But Jake, you need to be ready. This is going to get worse before it gets better. I didn't know how it could get worse. It got worse. May 6th. Ryan called me. Ryan and I went to high school together. Known him 15 years. We'd grab beers once a month, watch games, normal stuff. Dude, you need to drop this lawsuit, he said. No greeting, just straight to it. Frank's a good guy. Everyone's talking about how you're being unreasonable. Ryan, I can't work anymore. My hand is fucked. Yeah, but accidents happen. Derek already apologized to you. Derek has apologized for nothing. I haven't heard from him once. That's because his lawyer told him not to contact you. Come on, man. This isn't who you are. I hung up. Didn't hear from Ryan again. May 8th. Tommy pulled me aside at the shop. Hey, I heard Frank Murphy might lose his bar. That true? His insurance should be covering this, I said. That's what insurance is for. Yeah, but, you can still work, right? Mike's got you supervising. At $23,000 less per year, Tommy, permanently. He looked uncomfortable, nodded, walked away. I realized then that people thought I was being greedy. May 12th, monthly poker night at Brad's house. I'd been playing in this game for 6 years. Same group. Every second Thursday. I showed up at 7:30 like always. The room went quiet when I walked in. Brad pulled me aside before I could sit down. Hey man, maybe sit this one out. Frank usually plays and people are uncomfortable. Frank assaulted me? Derek assaulted you. Frank's just trying to run his business. So, I'm not welcome? Brad wouldn't look at me. Stared at his shoes instead. Maybe just until this blows over. I left. Drove home in silence. First time I'd felt truly isolated. May 10th. Someone created a fake Facebook profile. Jake the Snake Martinez, posted in local community groups, local mechanic trying to extort money from Murphy's bar over minor injury, ambulance chaser. My actual Facebook started getting friend requests. Accepted a few before I realized they were fake accounts. The messages came fast. Hope you're proud of yourself, destroying a family business. You're what's wrong with this country. Karma is coming for you. I reported them, blocked them. New ones kept appearing. May 15th. Letter arrived from the local business association. Formal letterhead. Typed. We understand you have a grievance with Murphy's bar. However, your legal action is causing significant reputational harm to our local business community. We encourage you to seek resolution through mediation rather than litigation. Signed by the VP Premium Auto, where I worked, was also an association member. I stared at the letter. Would Mike fire me to avoid pressure from the association? I folded it, put it in my drawer. Didn't tell anyone. That night, I sat alone in my apartment thinking maybe I should just give up. Bills covered the kitchen table, rent notice, credit card statement, medical bills I couldn't pay. Everyone thought I was the bad guy. I tried to eat dinner. Fork dropped twice because my hand was shaking too much. Maybe I should just take the $8,500 and end this. May 18th, I had an appointment with Dr. Delia Smith. Webb arranged it. New occupational medicine specialist. Dr. Chen referred me. Dr. Smith was maybe 46, former ER doctor. Now she specialized in workplace injuries. The evaluation took 90 minutes. She didn't rush. She tested my grip strength multiple times, not 10 seconds like Kemper did. Sustained holds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a full minute. My right hand measured at 58% of my left hand strength when gripping for more than 30 seconds. She asked me to simulate work tasks. I used a wrench, held a power drill position, did repetitive motions like I would on the job. After 15 minutes, my hand was visibly trembling. Pain was at 7 out of 10. I had to stop. She tested fine motor skills, writing, buttoning my shirt, picking up small screws. She documented everything, photos, measurements. When we finished, she looked at me. Jake, your injury is real and significant. Dr. Kemper's evaluation was inadequate and frankly insulting. She showed me the comparison. He tested you for 10 seconds. Your job requires sustained grip strength for hours. That's like testing a marathon runner by having them sprint 50 meters. She explained the nerve damage. Radial nerve injury doesn't always show up in short-duration tests. The nerve fatigues quickly under sustained use. That's why your hand is fine for a few minutes, then starts trembling. May 23rd. Her report arrived. 14 pages. I read the conclusion 3 times. Patient demonstrates significant functional impairment consistent with radial nerve damage. Sustained grip strength reduced to 58% of expected baseline, unable to perform repetitive wrist rotation without pain and tremor onset within 15 minutes. Unable to safely operate power tools. Permanent partial disability rating, 42% for occupational purposes. Patient will require career modification. Future medical needs. Ongoing physical therapy 2 times weekly for 6 to 9 months minimum. Potential nerve revision surgery. If conservative treatment fails, cost $35,000 to $50,000. Lifelong ergonomic accommodations. 42%, not 8, 42. I broke down crying at my kitchen table. Not from sadness, from relief. Someone finally believed me. Someone documented what I'd been living. Someone used medical authority to say this is real. That evening I called Webb. I got Dr. Smith's report. I've seen it, Webb said. It's bulletproof. This is what we needed. Everyone thinks I'm lying. That I'm exaggerating. Jake, listen to me. Dr. Smith has testified in over 200 cases. She doesn't exaggerate. She doesn't minimize. She tells the truth. Insurance companies hate her because they can't discredit her. You're not crazy. You're not greedy. You're hurt, and now we can prove it. I looked at my right hand, still trembling. Now we go on offense, Webb said. Discovery phase starts next week. We're going to get every document Murphy's Bar has. Incident logs, previous complaints, security protocols, everything. What if they don't have anything documented? Then that's negligence too. Either way, we're about to find out what they've been hiding. I sat there holding Dr. Smith's report. 14 pages of validation. For the first time in months, I didn't feel alone. The next week, Webb filed formal discovery requests. June 1st. He sent them to Murphy's Bar and Atlas Insurance. He demanded everything. Security incident logs for the past 2 years. Employee training records, previous customer complaints, insurance claims history, video footage if any existed, staff schedules for February 9th, Derek Moss's patron history. All of it. They have 2 weeks to respond, Webb told me over the phone. If they hide anything, we'll know. June 15th. Murphy's response arrived. Webb called me that afternoon. They sent barely anything, he said. I could hear him flipping through pages. Copy of their liquor license, general liability insurance policy, staff schedule showing Reggie was on duty that night, and a 2-paragraph incident summary Frank wrote the day after. What does it say? Webb read it. Customer altercation resulted in minor injury, parties separated, no police called, minor injury, my hand was permanently disabled. What about the security logs? I asked. Previous complaints? Derek's history? Nothing. They claim none of that exists. That's bullshit. Reggie told me he writes everything down in a book. I know, Webb said, which means they're hiding it. We're filing a motion to compel. The judge won't like them withholding documents. June 28th. Derek's deposition was scheduled. Webb would question him under oath. We prepared the night before, went through questions at his office. How much did Derek drink that night? Had he been warned about aggressive behavior before? Why did he shove Jake? What if he lies? I asked. People lie differently under oath, Webb said. They get nervous. Contradict themselves. We'll catch the inconsistencies. I wasn't convinced. Derek lied to the police already. Why would a deposition be different? Because now there's a transcript, Webb said. Everything he says is locked in. If he changes his story later, we use it against him. Trust me. The deposition was in a conference room downtown. Small, fluorescent lights, long table. Derek sat across from us with his lawyer. He looked uncomfortable, kept shifting in his seat. Webb started with the basics. Name, age, occupation. Derek worked construction, 28 years old, lived 3 blocks from Murphy's Bar. How often do you go to Murphy's? Webb asked. I don't know, 3 or 4 times a week maybe. For how long? 2 years. Maybe longer. Webb wrote something down. On February 9th, how much did you drink? Derek looked at his lawyer. His lawyer nodded. I don't remember exactly. 7 or 8 beers. 3 shots, maybe. 3 shots of what? Whiskey. Webb didn't react, just kept writing. Had you been warned about your behavior that night? What do you mean? Had anyone from the bar told you to calm down or stop drinking? Derek shifted again. I don't think so. You don't think so, or you don't remember? I don't remember. Webb pulled out a document, slid it across the table. This is a witness statement from Reggie Williams, the bouncer. He says he warned you twice that night about being aggressive with other patrons. Does that refresh your memory? Derek's jaw tightened. Maybe. I was drunk. So you were warned. I guess. Webb leaned forward slightly. Why did you shove Mr. Martinez? I didn't mean to hurt him. That's not what I asked. Why did you shove him? Long pause. Derek looked at his lawyer again. He was in my way. In your way where? By the stairs. I was pissed off about something else. I just wanted him to move. Did Mr. Martinez do anything to provoke you? Another pause. No. Webb wrote that down, underlined it. So you shoved an innocent person because you were drunk and angry about something unrelated to him. Derek's lawyer interrupted. You're characterizing his statement. I'm clarifying, Webb said. He looked back at Derek. Is that accurate? Derek stared at the table. Yeah, that's accurate. Webb called me that night. Derek just admitted everything on the record. Unprovoked assault, history of aggression at the bar, extreme intoxication. His own testimony proves he assaulted you without cause. I sat on my couch holding the phone. What about his brother's statement? The one saying I started it? Contradicted. Derek himself said you didn't provoke him. Cameron's statement is worthless now. For the first time in months, something went right. But Frank's still hiding the logbook, I said. Not for long. Judge is authorizing a site inspection. We're going into Murphy's bar whether Frank likes it or not. Meanwhile, life kept moving, whether I was ready or not. June started, and I officially became a supervisor. I arrived at the shop at 7 a.m. like always, but now I reviewed work orders instead of taking them, assigned jobs to other mechanics instead of doing them myself, handled customer estimates, talked people through problems I couldn't fix anymore. Tommy was working on a transmission one afternoon. He'd been at the shop 3 years. I trained him. He struggled with a tricky bolt. Called me over. Jake, can you show me? I looked at the bolt, knew exactly how to get it. Angle the wrench just right. Apply steady pressure while rotating counterclockwise. I couldn't demonstrate it. Try angling the wrench more to the left, I said. Then rotate slowly. Don't force it. Tommy nodded. Did what I said. Got it loose. Thanks, man. I felt useless. Obsolete. PT sessions continued. Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 6:30, before work. Dr. Chen tracked my progress. Grip strength improved from 58% to 63%. That's good, she said. We both knew it was nowhere near 100. Will I ever be able to work on engines again? She looked at me. Honest. Probably not at your previous level. The nerve damage is permanent. We're managing it, not curing it. Money was still tight. My new supervisory role paid $38,000 a year, started June 1st. I used to make 61, that's $23,000 less. Annually, forever. Rent was current now, barely. Credit card debt sat at $12,400. Medical bills climbed to $31,200. PT sessions kept adding up. I caught up my car payment, but I had to ask for extended terms. Now I was paying for 7 years instead of 5. Small victories came with defeats. Victory. I could open jars now. Modified grip technique. Dr. Chen taught me. Victory. My handwriting was slightly steadier, still shaky, but legible. Defeat. I tried helping Mike with a brake job during lunch. My hand cramped after 8 minutes. Had to stop. Defeat. My nephew's birthday party. I couldn't open the toy package for him. Another dad had to help. June 20th. Evening. I was alone in my garage looking at my motorcycle, 2006 Honda Shadow. Hadn't touched it in 4 months. It needed a carburetor adjustment. 15-minute job. I used to do it blindfolded. I got my tools out. Removed the air filter. Started loosening screws. My hand started trembling after 5 minutes. I dropped the screwdriver. Twice. Finally, I gave up. Sat on the garage floor. I'm not a mechanic anymore. I'm a guy who used to be a mechanic. 2 days later, Frank escalated. June 22nd. Murphy's Bar hosted a community support night. I saw it on Facebook. Help Save Murphy's Family Night fundraiser. All proceeds going to legal defense fund against frivolous lawsuit. Over 200 people attended. Local news covered it. Community rallies around beloved bar. They interviewed Frank. He stood behind the bar looking exhausted. We're just trying to survive, he said. One person's greed is threatening 23 years of service to this community. My name was never mentioned. Everyone knew anyway. June 23rd. Frank's lawyer filed a motion. If I lost the case, I'd have to pay their court costs. I called Webb. What does that mean? Intimidation, Webb said. They want you scared you'll lose everything. Don't be. We have a strong case, but I was scared. June 25th, Frank showed up at my apartment. He buzzed the intercom. Jake, it's Frank. 5 minutes, please. I debated ignoring him, decided to face him instead. We talked outside the building. Frank looked terrible, thinner, bags under his eyes. Jake, I'm begging you. My wife had to start seeing a therapist. She's on anxiety medication now, because of this lawsuit. He pulled out a pill bottle, showed me the label. Sarah Murphy, Xanax. This is what you're doing to my family. Frank, my daughter Emily had to take a semester off from college. We can't afford it anymore. She's working at Target now instead of studying nursing. Frank, I'm sorry your family is affected, but he cut me off. No, you're not sorry. If you were sorry, you'd drop this. You can still work. You've got a job. My wife is having panic attacks thinking about losing our house. I didn't know what to say. Part of me believed him. Was I destroying a family? But the other part remembered. Frank knew Derek was dangerous. Did nothing. Still, Emily's face in those photos. 19 years old. Dreams deferred. Frank walked away without another word. That night I couldn't sleep. 1:30 a.m. I texted Webb. Is this worth it? He responded at 2:14. He was used to clients' 2 a.m. doubts. Jake, go to sleep. We'll talk tomorrow. But remember, Frank had insurance for exactly this situation. His insurance company is choosing to fight instead of paying. That's not your fault. Frank's financial stress is real, but it's caused by Atlas denying a legitimate claim, not by you seeking compensation for permanent disability. Don't let them confuse you about who the actual villain is here. I read it 3 times. Didn't sleep anyway. June 28th. I was leaving PT. Walking to my car. A woman approached me. Jake Martinez? I recognized her from photos. Sarah Murphy, Frank's wife. She was crying. Please, please stop this. We're going to lose everything. Mrs. Murphy. Frank's blood pressure is through the roof. He's on medication now. The doctor says he's at risk for a heart attack. She pulled out her phone, showed me a photo. Frank in a hospital bed. ER visit. June 24th. Stress-related chest pain. You're killing him, she said. Is that what you want? To kill someone over money? I stood there in the parking lot, completely overwhelmed. She walked away, still crying. I got in my car, hands shaking, called Webb. Frank's wife just ambushed me outside PT. She said I'm killing her husband. Webb was angry now. That's harassment. Document it. Time, place, what she said. Take a photo if you see her again. This is coordinated intimidation, Jake. They're desperate. It doesn't feel like intimidation. It feels like I'm destroying real people. You didn't cause this. Derek caused this. Frank's negligence caused this. Atlas's refusal to pay caused this. You're just the person refusing to absorb everyone else's mistakes. Late June became the loneliest period of my life. I stopped going to my usual coffee shop. Too many stairs. Started grocery shopping at a different store. Ran into Brad from poker night at the old one. Awkward conversation. He looked at me like I was a stranger. Former friends stopped calling. The only people who still talk to me: Mike, Tommy, Dr. Chen, Webb. That was it. 4 people in the entire world who didn't think I was the villain. Then the breakthrough came. July 2nd. Judge Marianne Foster granted Webb's motion to compel. Murphy's Bar had 14 days to produce all incident logs, complaint records, and patron history. Penalty for non-compliance: $500 per day and potential contempt charges. July 10th. Frank's lawyer produced more documentation, generic security protocols, clearly a template downloaded from the internet, training certificates for Reggie dated 2019, nothing recent. Still no incident logbook. Webb called me. They're stalling. I'm going directly to Reggie. July 12th. Webb's investigator interviewed Reggie at his home. Reggie was conflicted. He needed the job, but he hated what happened. Look, I wrote everything down that night, Reggie said. Frank told me to keep the book in the office. Where's the book now? I don't know, man. Frank said the lawyer has it. July 15th. Derek's deposition happened. Under oath, Derek admitted everything. He'd been to Murphy's 3 to 4 times a week for 2 years. He'd been in verbal altercations with other patrons maybe 5 or 6 times. He'd been warned twice by Reggie to calm down. He drank 7 or 8 beers and 3 shots the night of February 9th. He shoved me because I was in his way and he was pissed off about something else. When Webb asked if I provoked him, Derek said no. I was just drunk and angry. Derek's lawyer realized the mistake too late. Unprovoked assault. History of aggression. Extreme intoxication. His brother's statement claiming I started it was now contradicted by Derek himself. Webb called me that evening. We just got Derek to admit everything. On the record. What does that mean? It means his defense just collapsed. His own testimony proves he assaulted you without provocation, and it proves Murphy's knew he had a pattern of aggressive behavior. But Frank was still hiding the logbook. Webb went back to Judge Foster. Your Honor, the bouncer confirms an incident log exists. Defense claims it doesn't. Someone is lying under penalty of perjury. Judge Foster was annoyed. Mr. Murphy, if that logbook exists and you're withholding it, you're in serious trouble. Frank's lawyer responded. My client maintains no such log exists in the form plaintiff describes. Judge Foster didn't hesitate. Then I'm authorizing a site inspection. Plaintiff's attorney may inspect the premises with a court officer present. July 20th. Webb, his investigator, and a court officer entered Murphy's Bar. The bar was closed, middle of the day. Frank was there, arms crossed, furious. They searched the office, files, desk drawers, storage closets. The court officer found it stuffed behind a file cabinet. Handwritten incident logbook, dated entries going back 18 months. Frank's face went pale. 6:47 p.m., Webb called me. We found it. The logbook. Jake, you're not going to believe this. He read me the entry from February 9th. 10:47 p.m., 23 minutes before the assault. Derek Moss. Loud, aggressive at bar. Warned him once already tonight. Asked manager if should remove him or call police. Response from manager FM. Wait, don't want to lose customers over nothing. Then the entry from 11:31 p.m., 8 minutes after the assault. Customer injured in altercation with DM. Right hand injury. Customer Jake M. left for hospital. DM still at bar drinking. I couldn't speak for a moment. They knew, I finally said. Frank knew Derek was getting aggressive and told Reggie to do nothing. Not just that, Jake. Frank let Derek keep drinking after he broke your hand. Reggie logged it. Derek stayed at the bar. Rage I hadn't felt before. That motherfucker. Frank and his lawyer just committed a major mistake, Webb said. They lied about the logbook's existence. Judge Foster is going to sanction them, maybe even refer this for criminal contempt. What happens now? Now? Their insurance company is going to panic. Atlas can't defend this anymore. We're about to get a settlement offer. A real one this time. I stared at my right hand, still trembling. Always would be. But something had shifted. I wasn't a victim anymore. We had the evidence. But what if they still don't offer enough? Then we go to trial, Webb said. And we win. 3 days later, Atlas panicked. July 23rd. Linda Pacheco had an emergency call with her supervisor. Webb told me about it later. They were scrambling. The logbook directly contradicts our position, Linda said. We argued there was adequate security response. The log proves management prevented security response. What's our exposure? Worst case? Jury trial could award $200,000 to $300,000 plus punitive damages for willful negligence. Best case? We settle for $80,000 to $100,000. July 26th. Atlas made their first serious offer. $62,000. Breakdown. $31,000 for medical costs. $18,000 for lost wages. $13,000 for pain and suffering. Stipulation. Non-disclosure agreement. No admission of liability. Webb called me immediately. We met at his office the next day. $62,000, I said. That's significant. It's insulting. Webb pulled out his calculator, Started writing numbers. Your medical costs alone are $31,200 now. Will likely hit $55,000 to $60,000 with continued PT and possible surgery. Lost wages are $14,200 so far, but you've taken a $23,000 annual pay cut permanently. Over 10 years of remaining career, that's $230,000. And pain and suffering for permanent disability? $13,000 is a joke. But it's real money. I could pay off my credit cards, catch up on rent. Jake, this is exactly what they want. Offer you just enough to be tempting when you're drowning, but nowhere near what you deserve. You've come this far. Don't cave now. I sat there staring at the number. $62,000 would solve my immediate crisis, but it didn't account for lifetime earnings loss, didn't account for the emotional toll, didn't hold anyone truly accountable. I looked at my right hand, still trembled when I was tired, thought about Frank's lie, Derek's non-apology, Atlas's initial $8,500 insult. Tell them no. By August 1st. I officially rejected $62,000, web countered with $175,000, fully justified breakdown provided. Atlas came back at $78,000. Final offer, take it or we go to trial. Webb called me. What do you want to do? I didn't hesitate. Trial it is. 4 days later, Frank made one final mistake. August 6th, 7 p.m., local Chamber of Commerce monthly meeting at the community center. Frank had arranged a public comment slot. I didn't know this was happening. I hadn't attended chamber meetings in months. About 40 local business owners were there. Frank took the microphone. I want to talk about what's happening to Murphy's Bar. He gave an emotional speech. 23 years serving this community. One angry customer trying to take everything. Lawsuit based on exaggerated injury claims. My family is suffering. Wife on anxiety meds. Daughter had to leave college. I'm asking everyone here, is this the kind of community we are, where one person's greed destroys a local institution? He got sympathetic murmurs, nodding heads. He showed the ER visit photo again. The stress is literally killing me. The chamber president looked uncomfortable. Frank, we appreciate you sharing, but this is pending litigation. Not sure this is appropriate venue. Frank cut him off. Jake Martinez works at Premium Auto on 5th Street. That's a chamber member business too. Maybe Mike should know what kind of person he's employing. Mike was in the audience. He stood up. Frank, that's out of line. Is it? You're harboring someone who's trying to destroy my livelihood. Jake was assaulted at your bar. He has a right to seek compensation. Frank was losing control now. He's trying to take my house, my kid's future, over a bar fight. Reggie Williams was sitting in the back. He'd been getting more uncomfortable with every word Frank said. He couldn't stay silent anymore. He stood up. Frank, stop. The room went quiet. Frank turned. Reggie, sit down. No, you're lying. You're lying to all these people. Reggie walked to the front. I told Frank that Derek was getting aggressive. I asked if I should remove him or call the cops. Frank told me to wait, said he didn't want to lose customers. That's in the logbook. Frank's own words. Frank's face went red. That's not... Then Derek assaulted Jake, broke his hand, and Frank let Derek stay at the bar and keep drinking. I logged that too. The room was completely silent now. Frank's lawyer tried to say that logbook didn't exist, but it did. I wrote in it every shift for 18 months. Frank hid it. Frank furious. You're fired. Get out. I already quit. I'm not lying for you anymore. Stunned silence. The chamber president stared at Frank. Frank, is this true? Did you hide evidence? Frank, defensive. That's taken out of context. Mike interrupted. Did you tell your bouncer not to remove an aggressive customer? I didn't think... It wasn't... Derek's a regular. I thought he'd calm down. Someone in the audience spoke up. You put profit over safety. Frank, desperate now. This is a bar. People drink. Things happen. That doesn't make me negligent. Dr. Delia Smith was also there. She attended chamber meetings, ran a small practice, member business. She stood. I evaluated Jake Martinez. His injury is severe and permanent. 42% reduction in sustained grip strength. He can't do his job anymore. That's not exaggerated. That's documented medical fact. Frank turned on her. You're his hired expert. Of course you'd say... Dr. Smith cut him off. I don't exaggerate for anyone. I've testified against plaintiffs when injuries are overstated. Jake's injury is real, debilitating, and permanent. Frank realized he was losing the room. You're all going to side with him? After everything I've done for this community? Nobody answered. Fine. Fine. I hope you all feel good about yourselves when Murphy's Bar closes, when 3 people lose their jobs, when this neighborhood loses its oldest business. He pointed at nothing, at everyone. Jake Martinez will have that blood on his hands, and so will all of you. He stormed out. 9 p.m. Mike called me. You need to know what just happened. He explained the whole meeting. I sat on my couch stunned. Reggie stood up for me? He did. Frank fired him on the spot. But Reggie didn't care, said he couldn't watch Frank lie anymore. Multiple people had recorded Frank's meltdown on their phones. Video of Frank saying I didn't think Derek would get violent was already circulating on local Facebook. The truth was finally out. The next few days, everything shifted. August 7th through 10th, local Facebook groups exploded. Previous Save Murphy supporters were now asking questions. Did Frank really hide evidence? Bouncer says Frank told him not to intervene. If Jake's injury is permanent, that changes things. A woman posted, my cousin was assaulted at Murphy's last year. Frank did nothing. Maybe Jake isn't the problem here. Another, I've seen Derek Moss drunk. He's terrifying. Why was he still being served? A business owner. I support local businesses but hiding evidence from court? That's not a mistake. That's fraud. August 9th. I got a Facebook message from Brad, the poker night host who told me to stay away. Jake, I owe you an apology. I heard what happened at the chamber meeting. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. If you're still interested, poker game is next Thursday. You're welcome back. Ryan messaged too, my high school buddy who called me unreasonable. Dude, I was wrong. Frank played us all. Sorry for the shit I said. Not everyone changed their mind. Some still defended Frank. He made one mistake, doesn't deserve to lose everything. But now the criticism was directed at Atlas and Derek, not me. General consensus was shifting. Jake was injured. Deserves compensation. Maybe the amount is debatable, but I wasn't the villain anymore. I felt relief more than triumph. Not vindicated because the community finally believed me. Vindicated because the truth finally came out. I called Dr. Smith. Thank you for speaking up at that meeting. You didn't have to. Yes, I did, she said. I'm tired of watching injured people get gaslit. 3 days later, Atlas made a new offer. August 12th, $125,000. Webb called me immediately. They're scared now. Frank's public meltdown makes him a terrible witness. They want this to go away. Is it enough? Let me counter at 155 and see what happens. August 13th through 16th. Webb presented itemized damages, medical costs current and projected, $58,000. Lost wages past plus 10-year differential, $237,000 reduced to reasonable claim of $65,000. Pain and suffering / permanent disability, $32,000. Total, $155,000. Atlas countered at 135. August 17th. I met Webb at his office. Do we take 135 or go to trial? Webb was honest. Trial could get you more, but it'll take another 6 to 8 months, and juries are unpredictable. What do you think I should do? What I think doesn't matter. Can you afford emotionally and financially to keep fighting? I thought about it. 7 months of hell, social isolation, financial stress. My hand still trembled. Permanent reminder. 135 doesn't fix my hand, but neither would 200. I looked at Webb. I want this over. But I had conditions. I'll accept 135, but I want 2 things. Webb listened. 1. Derek Moss pays his portion directly to me. $47,000 for medical costs. I want him to feel it. 2. No NDA. I get to tell my story. I'm not covering for Frank Murphy. Webb smiled. Let's see if they'll agree. August 18th. Atlas and Derek's lawyer had a conference call with Webb. Atlas agreed to my terms immediately, desperate to settle. Derek's lawyer balked. My client can't pay $47,000 up front. Then he can make payments, Webb said. $1,500 a month for 3 years, with interest. Or we go to trial and ask the jury for punitive damages. Derek agreed. He knew he had no defense after his deposition. August 19th. I sat in Webb's office waiting for final approval. Settlement documents being drafted. My hand trembled slightly. Always did. I thought about February 9th. The night everything changed. Thought about Frank's face at the chamber meeting. Thought about Reggie standing up. Thought about Dr. Smith's validation. Webb's phone rang. It's Atlas. They're signing. I looked at him. So it's over? Almost. We need your signature. Then we schedule mediation for final terms. One more step. I stared at the settlement number. $135,000. Not enough. Never could be enough. But it was something. And it was acknowledgement. This time I'm not backing down. 11 days later, we all sat in the same room for the first time since February 9th. August 30th. Formal mediation at the courthouse, conference room, neutral space, long table, present, me and Webb, Frank Murphy and his attorney, Derek Moss and his attorney, Atlas Insurance representative and their attorney, Judge Patricia Reeves, retired, now private mediator. I sat across from Frank and Derek, first time seeing them since that night. Judge Reeves started. Each side will present their case. Mr. Webb, you're first. Webb stood, laid out medical evidence, Dr. Smith's report, PT records, photos of my hand tremor. He presented the incident log, the smoking gun, financial losses, itemized, every cent documented. This isn't about punishing anyone, Webb said. It's about making my client whole after permanent, life-changing injury caused by preventable assault. Atlas's attorney went next. Our client Murphy's bar maintains adequate security. Unfortunate incident, but bar cannot control all customer behavior. Webb interrupted. Your client's own log proves manager prevented security intervention. Atlas attorney deflated. We're here to discuss reasonable settlement. Derek's attorney spoke. My client acknowledges poor judgment while intoxicated. He's accepted misdemeanor assault charge. He's willing to contribute to settlement proportional to his means. Derek wouldn't look at me. Frank's attorney stood. Murphy's bar has served this community for 23 years without incident. Webb cut in. Without reported incident, because incidents were suppressed. Frank's attorney continued. And my client is facing financial ruin over a single lapse in judgment. Judge Reeves took control. Let's cut through the posturing. Mr. Martinez, you've been offered $135,000 total, split between defendants. Is that acceptable? With conditions. What conditions? Derek Moss pays $47,000 directly to me for medical costs. Murphy's bar and Atlas cover the remaining $88,000. No non-disclosure agreement. And Murphy's implements mandatory security intervention protocols. Frank exploded. You want me to change how I run my business? His attorney grabbed his arm. Frank, please. Frank ignored him. You've already destroyed me financially. Now you want to dictate my operations? I spoke directly to Frank for the first time. You let a drunk man break my hand because you didn't want to lose bar revenue that night. Yes, I want you to change your business. Tense silence. Frank glaring. I didn't back down. Judge Reeves looked at Frank. Mr. Murphy, I recommend you listen to your attorney. Frank's attorney whispered urgently. Frank slumped in his chair. Fine. Whatever. Let's just end this. Derek finally spoke. Can I say something? His attorney tried to stop him. Derek, don't. Derek ignored him. Looked at me for the first time. I was drunk. I don't really remember doing it. But I know I did. And I'm sorry. That doesn't fix your hand. I know. But I'm sorry. Not a great apology. But it was something. I nodded. Okay. No forgiveness. But acknowledgement. Settlement finalized. Derek. $47,000. $15,000 up front from savings. Remaining $32,000 in payments of $13.35 per month for 24 months. Murphy's Bar and Atlas split. $88,000. Atlas pays $80,000. Frank personally covers $8,000 as deductible. Murphy's agrees to mandatory intervention protocols. Licensed security training. Incident reporting system reviewed by third party annually. No NDA. All parties signed. I looked at my signature on the settlement document. My hand trembled slightly as I wrote. Always would. I didn't feel triumph. Didn't feel relief yet. Just done. 2 weeks later, the money arrived. September 15th. Derek's initial payment, $15,000. Certified check delivered by his attorney. Atlas and Murphy's payment, $88,000. Wire transfer to Webb's trust account. Webb took his contingency fee, 33% of $135,000, $44,550. I received $90,450 net. I paid off my credit card, $12,400. Paid off medical bills, $31,200. Set aside for future PT, $15,000. 6 months projected costs. Paid back rent and late fees, $3,200. Car payment current. Paid ahead 3 months, $1,350. Remaining, $27,300. Not life-changing money, but breathing room. First time in 7 months I wasn't drowning financially. Could afford PT without a credit card. Could afford rent without panic. Could afford to live. September 20th. Derek's plea deal finalized. Misdemeanor assault conviction. Sentence, 12 months probation, 80 hours community service. Anger management course for 16 weeks. No jail time, but criminal record. Monthly payment to me. Constant reminder. Banned from Murphy's Bar and 6 other local establishments. Frank paid the settlement, but his reputation was damaged. Chamber of Commerce distanced themselves quietly. 3 Yelp reviews appeared mentioning unsafe, owner hid evidence. Business noticeably slower. I heard from coworkers. New security protocols implemented. Licensed guard on duty Thursday through Saturday. Written incident response plan. Manager on-call system. Frank was bitter. Believed he was the victim. Atlas Insurance had consequences too. Internal review of Linda Pacheco's handling. I never learned the outcome. Murphy's Bar premiums increased 340% at renewal. Atlas policy now required quarterly security audits. Reggie quit Murphy's. Found new job as security at a concert venue. Paid better. Less drama. I sent him a thank you card. You didn't have to stand up for me. Thank you. He texted back. Yeah, I did. Couldn't live with staying quiet. A month later, Mike suggested I talk to someone. October. We were in his office going over inventory. You've been through trauma, he said. Not just the injury. Everything after. I'm fine. You're not sleeping. You barely talk to anyone. You won. You should feel better. I realized he was right. I didn't feel better. October 12th. First therapy session. Dr. Yolanda Ruiz, trauma counselor. I explained everything. The injury, the lawsuit, the isolation, the settlement. Do you feel like you got justice? She asked. I got money. I got Derek to apologize. Sort of. I got Frank to change his security. So, yes? But you don't sound certain. Long silence. My hand still shakes. I still can't do the job I love. The money doesn't fix that. Dr. Ruiz leaned forward. You're grieving your old life. Your identity as a mechanic. The career you expected to have for 30 more years. I'm supervising. I'm still in the industry. But it's not the same. And that loss is real. I broke down. First real cry since the injury. Not angry tears. Sad tears. Mourning what I lost. We talked about the isolation. People thought I was greedy. They thought I was destroying Frank for money. How does that feel now that opinions have shifted? Honestly, I don't care anymore. The people who believed Frank over me, they showed me who they are. Are you angry at them? No, I'm just done with them. I don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. She asked about forgiveness. Have you forgiven Derek? Frank? No. Should I? There's no should. But holding anger, does it help you? I thought about it. Derek apologized. It was shitty and minimal, but he said sorry. I don't forgive him, but I don't think about him much anymore. And Frank? Frank still thinks he's the victim. I can't forgive someone who doesn't think they did anything wrong, but I'm not wasting energy hating him either. He has to live with what he did. That's enough. We talked about my hand. My hand isn't getting better. Dr. Chen says we've hit plateau. This is it. How does that feel? Sad, angry, unfair, all valid. But also I'm adapting. I can do some things I couldn't do in March. I've learned modifications. It's not the same, but it's something. Dr. Ruiz nodded. That's growth. Acceptance doesn't mean you're happy about it. It means you're finding ways to live with it. I realized something sitting there. The settlement, the apology, the protocol changes, none of it fixed anything. But they mattered. They were acknowledgement that what happened to me was wrong. They were accountability in an imperfect system. That had to be enough, because it was all there is. 6 months after the settlement, life looked different. March 2026, 1 year since the injury. My supervisory role at Premium Auto was established now. I wasn't the injured mechanic in a temporary position anymore. I was shop supervisor with specialized diagnostic skills. I trained new mechanics. Tommy, Luis, the new hire, Ashley, 22, first woman mechanic at the shop. Turned out I was good at teaching, patient, thorough. I found satisfaction in passing knowledge on, even if I couldn't do the work myself. PT ended in December. Dr. Chen said we'd maximized my recovery. Final assessment, grip strength stabilized at 71%, up from 58, down from 100. I could do light mechanical work for short periods, still couldn't use power tools professionally, still got tremor when my hand was tired. Permanent partial disability. Real. Lifelong. I'd learned adaptations. Foam grip enhancers on tools at home, modified handwriting, printed instead of cursive, learned to do tasks left-handed when possible, accepted help when I needed it. Hardest part, voice to text for long messages. I started dating again, met Rachel in January, 29, dental hygienist, Hinge. I told her about the injury on the first date, was upfront now. Her response? That must have been really hard. Do you want to talk about it? I realized I did want to talk about it, not all the time, but sometimes. Rachel listened, didn't try to fix it, just validated. My social circle was different, lost some friends. Brad and Ryan came back, but the relationships had changed. Closer to Mike now. Mutual respect deepened. New friend, Reggie. We met for coffee monthly. I volunteered with a local bar safety advocacy group, met others who'd been injured in preventable incidents, found purpose in trying to change systems. April 2026. I told my story at a city council meeting. Local group called Safe Spaces Initiative, pushing for stricter bar security requirements. I wasn't comfortable public speaking. My hands shook holding notes. But my testimony was powerful. I was injured because profit mattered more than safety. No one else should lose their career because a bar owner didn't want to lose a customer. City Council passed a new ordinance. All bars with capacity over 100 must have licensed security Thursday through Saturday. Mandatory incident reporting. Murphy's Bar had to comply. Frank was furious. But law was law. My story became the case study that changed policy. May 2026. My nephew Danny asked me to help with his science fair project. He was 10 now. Build a simple machine. I hesitated. I'm not great with tools anymore, buddy. But you can teach me, right? I realized. Yes, I could. We built a pulley system together. I talked Danny through each step. He did the physical work. Project took 3 afternoons. Pre-injury, I would have done it in 45 minutes. But it was better this way. Danny learned. I taught. Danny won 3rd place at science fair. He ran to me. We did it, Uncle Jake. I corrected him gently. You did it. I just helped. That's what teachers do. Sunday morning, May 19th, 2026. I was in my garage with my Honda Shadow. Hadn't tried to work on it since February 2025, 15 months. Time to try again. I got my tools, opened the toolbox, started with something small, tightening a loose mirror. My right hand trembled slightly, took breaks every few minutes, took 20 minutes for what used to be a 2-minute task, but I did it. I sat on the bike, didn't start it, just sat, looked at my right hand on the throttle, thought about February 9th, 2025, the push, the railing, the crack. Thought about the months after, pain, isolation, fighting, thought about now, different life, different career, different hand. Not better, not worse, just different. My phone buzzed. Text from Derek Moss. Monthly payment sent. Month 8 of 24. No message, just the notification. I didn't respond. Looked at my medical file folder on the garage shelf. Dr. Smith's report still inside. 42% permanent partial disability. The number that changed everything. I didn't open the folder. Didn't need to anymore. Knew what was in it. Knew what I lost. Knew what I survived. Knew what I became. I started the motorcycle. It rumbled to life. My hand trembled slightly on the throttle. Always would, but the bike ran smooth. That's something.